Radhe Radhe everybody. This is in response to the person who commented about Bhagavatam, and he also wanted me to go over ISKCON's Prabhupada's Bhagavatam, all the books that I have, which I do plan to do. But before that, we are going to read from central theme of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not going to be a random read. I thought it would benefit us to read the whole book in this channel, part by part. There are only 56 pages, and if you look at the thickness of this book versus the actual Bhagavatam, this is not intimidating at all. So I'll start with introduction. This is a book by Swami Ranganathananda. The Srimad Bhagavatam is one of the greatest books of bhakti in our tradition. Immensely popular all over India, it has inspired poets, saints, and artists as it provides a great range of material for their art. Bhagavatam means that which deals with Bhagavan, the blessed supreme being. It has 12 skandhas or books with 18,000 verses in all. Its subject is pure love, the nature of pure love, how you can acquire it, and stories of saints and sages that illustrate love in its various forms. The very first verse is marvelous. The first verse is very important in Bhagavatam, which pretty much summarizes what God is all about. जन्माद्यस्य यथोन्वयादिरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वामृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. Satyam Param Dhimahi has been highlighted. He from whom the creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the material and instrumental cause of it, who is omniscient, who is the only one having self-mastery, being the one independent entity who illumined the mind of Brahma with the Vedic revelation, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest of sages, in whom the worlds, the manifestation of the three gunas, subsist in reality without in the least affecting him, just as the combination of material elements like fire, water and earth subsist in their causes without changing their elemental nature, in whose light of consciousness there is no place for anything false. On that truth supreme we meditate. This verse has a touch of Gayatri mantra of the Vedas. The Gayatri says, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. We meditate on the glory of the divine. Since the last line of this verse ends with Satyam Param Dhimahi, we meditate upon the supreme truth. It reminds us of the Gayatri mantra. Therefore, this verse has been called the Gayatri of the Bhagavatam. What is that Param Satyam or supreme truth? Janma Adi Asya Yataha. It is that from which the universe has come in, which it now rests, and to which it will ultimately go. This theme is so, repetitive in all our scriptures. In Lalita Sahasranam, the first one, Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni, Srimad Simhasaneshwari. These three things have been discussed. That which creates it all, that which sustains it all, and that within which everything rests again. That alone sums up who God is and what truth is, right? So that's what it's been explained here. According to the Upanishads, that source is Brahman, the ultimate reality, which is of the nature of pure consciousness. It is non-dual. Therefore, the Bhagavatam says, if the universe has come from that supreme reality, it cannot be unreal. So long as it is associated with that supreme reality, it is real. Now, one can actually associate the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Nasato vidyate bhavo, nabhavo vidyate sataha here. That which is unreal does not exist, that which is real does not cease to be. So that which is real has created it all in that reality. That is, as long as you associate the world with its source, it is real. As long as we stay there with that truth. If we depart from the truth, that is, if we depart from the source of it all, we are already treading the path of unreal. This meaning has been suggested by the words at the end of the third line of the verse, Yatra Trisarga Amrusha. Through the presence of that, the whole world ceases to be unreal. One view is, the one alone is true, the many are false. The other view given here says, seeing the one in the many, the whole universe of the many ceases to be unreal. The universe is real only through the existence of that one reality in it. This universe is Amrusha. Mrusha means unreal. Amrusha means not unreal. Because the one is there in the many, the universe is not unreal. As said by Sri Ramakrishna, zeros have no value, but by adding the figure 1 before a zero, it gets value, and it increases with the addition of every new zero. Even an infinity of zeros have no value until you have the figure 1 before it. That 1 is equivalent to pure consciousness with respect to the universe of objects and events. The Bhagavatam extols that infinite one who alone makes the world real. It tells us to realize the Lord in our life and action and interhuman relations. Find the one in the many. Then the world of the many ceases to be unreal, Amrusha. In the opening verse, therefore, we find the foundation of spirituality of life and action and happy interhuman relations. This Upanishadic truth is the basis of the teachings of yoga in the Gita, which is the best book of practical Vedanta according to Swami Vivekananda. The one in whom the Trisarga, or the past, present, and future of the universe exist as real, we meditate upon that supreme truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. This idea of the universe being not unreal because of the one that is there in the many is an important reference to the path of devotion or bhakti in India's spiritual life. Unless the world has a divine quality, the path of bhakti cannot develop fully. So in India, this idea was expressed by Yatra Trisargaha Amrusha and then Satyam Param Dhimahi. An echo of this description of the origin of universe as given in the Vedanta is found in modern astronomy. Modern astronomy says this universe is the product of an explosion, expansion, and evolution of a background material to which the universe will return in the end. In Vedantic terms, from the one, the many have come, and unto the one, the many will return. The one, non-dual reality Brahman, multiplied itself into the many, as the Vedas put it, Ekoham Bahushyam, and I am one, let me be many. That's what God thought. And in the end, all multiplicity will be reabsorbed into the one. Modern astrophysics hold that background material to be a highly dense piece of matter, while Vedanta holds that the background entity to be pure consciousness, the infinite and non-dual Brahman or Atman. This is the only difference between the two. And the verse says we meditate upon the non-dual pure consciousness. We now find modern astronomy coming closer to Vedantic ideas of the ultimate reality as consciousness. Astronomer Fred Hoyle's new book is entitled The Intelligent Universe. This brings it nearer to the Vedantic concept of Brahman. 2 verses later, we get another expressive verse. It says, this Bhagavatam is a ripe and juicy fruit tasted by a bird Shuka. Now, Shuka in Sanskrit means a bird, but it also refers to the great son of sage Vyasa, the narrator of the book. It is an allegorical reference to the poet and the sage Shuka, from whose mouth the nectar of sweet fruit of Bhagavatam comes out. And we are exhorted to drink the nectar of this fruit again and again. Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam sukha mukha admadra vashyam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. It says drink the Bhagavatam again and again. The very ocean of rasa, pure love, O you who are rasikas and bhavukas. The Bhagavatam is a ripe nectar fruit on the tree of the Vedas brought down by the sage Shuka. If you have the spirit of love in you, any type of love, if you're a rasika and a bhavuka on earth, you will certainly love to enjoy this Amrita nectar over and over again. Sage Shuka, the son of sage Vyasa, taught the scripture of love to King Parikshit, the grandson of Arjuna, at Hastinapura. I'll stop with spiritual greatness of Shuka. Every word of this verse is beautiful. It says that great Bhagavatam is a rasamalayam, an ocean of rasa. Rasa is a highly technical term in Indian aesthetics denoting a quality of joy. Any kind of appreciation of art, beauty, and other things is made in terms of rasa. And the capacity to appreciate it makes one a rasika. So if you're a connoisseur, a rasika, take this rasa, that is Bhagavatam. What is this rasam? Nigama kalpatora galitam phalam. On the tree of Vedas, there is a ripe fruit full of nectarine juice. A bird came and tasted the fruit and it fell. Here the bird is sage Shuka. As mentioned earlier, the word Shuka ordinarily means a bird, but here it refers to the great sage Shuka. Then Pibata, go on drinking this nectarine juice. You would not be satiated if you drink it once. So drink it again and again. Muhuraho and Bhuvibhavuka. If you have the capacity to respond to rasa, you will be able to enjoy this wonderful ocean of bliss. If you read a poem before a prosaic individual, he or she would not appreciate it at all. Similarly, only those who have love in their heart can appreciate this ocean of love, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, just this part, what we get is that if you have ever experienced love in any form, then you are definitely going to enjoy Bhagavatam. Number one. Number two, there is Muhuraho. You'll do it again and again. And I've always wondered, whenever there were Bhagavatam discourses in our town, my grandma used to go, my dad, mom used to attend. Every time there would be Bhagavatam 7 days discourse. It would be the same thing again and again and again. And I would think, what is in it that people just flock back to this? I mean, they've heard this. They even know what songs are coming up in certain verses. And now, at present times, I recommend Jaya Kishori's Bhagavatam. If you're somebody that knows Hindi, it's a beautiful recitation. The songs and bhajans are extremely wonderful, and the way they do this, there's a place where Shiva and Sati get married, and that whole story of the Sati comes up, and this whole thing is enacted in front of her while she is singing and giving the discourse. Amazing thing to be watching in YouTube. You don't have to attend her sessions, it's all on YouTube. And if you want more of an academic presentation, there is Nochur Swami's Bhagavatam. 7-day discourses in English and Tamil. Of course, if you don't know Tamil or Malayalam, you could go to his English compilation in the Voice of Rishi's channel in YouTube, which I will link below. And why is there so much repetition? Why are people just going to see them here? It's not just Krishna's birth and childhood. It's compilation of many stories, and there is a part where you talk about the Avijnata, the guy who just gets lost into a house. He goes there with his friend, and he leaves the friend and gets into the house and gets into a huge Maya, and then he realizes who he is. This is told in a story form. Self-realization just opened up in a story form. Then there is Dattatraya's story of all his gurus, how he takes lessons from everything that is around him. And there is a story of Ajamila, which is the most motivating story, and Gokarna just saying Bhagavatam and liberating his brother, his evil brother. That is something that's beautiful and extremely reassuring. So when you hear these again and again and again, what happens is subtly, you're not doing Atma Vichara, you're not doing the knowledge path, you're taking the scenic route of Bhakti, where your soul is like amazingly cooled down, so to speak. For lack of better words, rasa is just that. It's a juice. You're just taking it, you are drinking it, it's doing good to your body. You're not worried about how this juice is going to go and metabolize in liver and go as energy into your cells. You don't want to be bothered about those things. We don't. Usually we eat healthy stuff, and the healthy stuff does its thing. Nobody's sitting and looking at chemical reactions that happen in the liver and how it No one's doing that. We're just eating it because it's good for us. Similarly, if Bhagavatam were to be enjoyed that way, it's going to really take you to the same place where a jnani would be. So I would say, in fact, listening to Nochur Swami's discourses, Bhagavatam is full of jnana and bhakti. So this is what that introduction part gave us, that if you have ever known what, I mean, we all know the purpose form of love. Nobody has ever known what love is. But if we have even done that gross part of love, where we think expectations are love, where we think our relationship in this transactional world is love, even that is good enough to start. So he says, Swami Ranganathananda says, it even builds a happy interhuman relations. So Bhagavatam has a lot to give. And if someone wants to read Bhagavatam, there are 18,000 verses, and one can go about reading one a day, and there's nothing daunting about that. If you look at 18,000 and all these skandhas, 12 skandhas, you will definitely be overwhelmed. But if you just decide to read one shloka and its meaning each day, it takes less than 3 minutes, and you can just go about your day, and it builds up. It's like 30 days supply of medicine. You look at the bottle and you don't get overwhelmed. It's taken one a day, and then it's going to do its thing. So that's how Bhagavatam is. And these two verses, the first skanda, first chapter, first verse, first skanda, first chapter, third verse, have been given here in central theme of Srimad Bhagavatam introduction part. I immensely enjoyed this book. I think you also will enjoy this book if you were to buy. There will be reading sessions on this channel of each part, wherever I can stop. If it's too long, I'll probably stop. But none of these chapters are too long. If you look at this, we've already completed introduction. The next one will be spiritual greatness of Shuka and things like that. I think it's worth this exercise in this channel for that person who had asked about Bhagavatam. Of course, I will show you the ISKCON Bhagavatams, how they are separated as skandhas, how one can just buy one skandha. If you don't want to buy all the cantos, one can start just in one and then go about like that. I will show you all the skandhas, and I'm on the third one right now with the ISKCON book. I also have Tamil version in Gita Press, which does not have huge explanations. It just has the sloka and its meaning in 3 volumes, which also has been shown in this channel previously, but I'll definitely show it again. Hope you're all studying scriptures. Hope you're all studying the Gita. Hope everything is good with you. May Lord Krishna shower all his blessings on all of us. Radhe Radhe.